future of social media in the sports sector? Do you think it's going to become more relevant for athletes, less relevant? What are your thoughts on that?
I think you're better qualified to answer this one than me.
I'm not sure. I think I would bow to your judgment. I have a view.
Go on.
I think it's always been important for high-profile athletes to be able to communicate directly with their fan base.
Yeah.
And up until this point, there's been an aggregator of that, which has been mainstream media. And what social's given players since 2011, 2012 is an opportunity to talk to their fan base directly. There's pros and cons of it, but I think if it's done right and in a considered approach, there's a lot to be gained from it. Yeah, and I think it'll increase in terms of its importance.
Yeah, and I'm just fascinated by tech generally. I almost think like sport or entertainment, whatever the sector, is just going to be the byproduct of the innovation that will happen in X amount of years. It's like everything will merge together. AI to VR to every other acronym that you can imagine, to the Metaverse, to Web3. There's definitely this convergence of the digital and the physical world. And I think, well, I always thought Twitter would be around forever, and then someone buys Twitter and everybody decides it's probably not going to be the thing. Just in the same way as that 6 years ago, everyone thought TikTok was the thing that happened on a clock. So, you know, the thing that's fascinating is, regardless of whether it's a new app or a new consumer product which allows a person to communicate with a crowd, however that is, that's the social element of whatever you want to classify social as. The fascinating thing that I think, which if you've watched Black Mirror, which I'm sure quite a lot of you guys had, and seen the San Junipero episode, which I think won a few Emmys. So this was the episode, I'm not going to spoil it for anyone that hasn't seen it, where they effectively go into the Metaverse, but the Metaverse is so good that it looks like it's reality. And so we have these two older people who are reliving their youth on a daily basis, more or less. And it's one of the most fantastic hours of TV I've ever seen, is the truth. So whenever anyone says to me, what's the Metaverse? The Metaverse at the moment is this clunky, you know, distribution platform that you put some goggles on or you do something with, and you can see the future. And at the moment, it's, you know, it's not quite there. In the same way that 25 years ago or 20 years ago, when you had a mobile phone, and the mobile phone could potentially connect to the internet. Now that sounds stupid to even say. So what I mean by social is, I think social is actually just the boundaries of interconnection, however you want to phrase that. The fascinating thing with how AI will, I think, effectively rewire everything, because you won't need human programmers anymore or it will help massively, then like Ready Player One and everything else that comes from it, people won't consider, I know it's really, I'm saying it slowly, won't consider this, or won't differentiate this world with the digital world as some type of alternate reality. And if that's the case, and you can be anywhere at any time, at any place, why would you need to take a plane to sit on a beach somewhere if you could have the same sensory interaction? Or why could you, see someone in another country of your family? Anyway, all of those type of things. So I'm going off in, a very random way. But
how do you advise players who, I'm sure, players trust you, right? So they'll be, hey mate, what do you think about social? Should I be on it? Should I not? What's your advice to them when that question crops up?
Look, you and I both know from all the players we've worked with over the years, a lot of them now won't really touch the stuff, or their stuff will be filtered because negativity is prevalent and continues to be that way a lot of the time. And then some people won't want to see that. But to a lot of, it sounds even stupid to say digitally native generation, because everyone's been digitally native for 10, 15 years on social. It's the most normal thing ever. We had this, you heard it before this morning with the chat with Freddie Lundberg, when Freddie said, his daughter asked the question this morning. She said, what about, how do you deal with all the paparazzi and all that type of stuff? And this was the ex-manager and player of Arsenal, and he said he doesn't understand all of these younger generations. They're sort of plastering themselves on social media with the being here, then everywhere. He goes, I spent 20 years trying to get all the paparazzi away from taking pictures and showing where I am and doing. And actually, the players are doing the paparazzi's job for them these days, but that's because the narrative has just completely flipped around to this sort of comparison.
I think the other thing, mate, the distribution of that content's changed now, right? In the old days, it would be, I want to get a photograph to give to the editor to progress my career. Now players are doing it because they want to progress their own career or their own message or their own cause, which, I think some of them do incredibly well.